So here we go, we're around the greens, we're looking to save as many shots as we can. Here are 5 great shots to help you out. I've just come up short of the green, 10 steps off the green, and I'm looking and surveying the shot. So the first part of any golf shot is the visualization. Tell yourself what you can do. So that's like sort of the art of the short game, is the picture that you're going to have in your mind. Now what I'm looking at here, I'm a little bit above the green, but I'm very much into the grain. If you look here, you can see that's going to make it a really difficult shot if I take my wedge out, sharp leading edge. So what I'm immediately going to do is I'm thinking chip and run. I'd like to putt this, but I'm too far away for that. What I'm going to use, 6-iron. Reason for a 6-iron is I don't want the ball to get in the air. And the reason for that is if it gets into the air, into the grain, it's going to be very hard for me to predict that first shot. So let me set this up for you. Mostly in address is where I'm going to create all of my angles. So a little bit of right to left, 6-iron, and I'm really just keeping my hands in that kind of forward position there, right? Arms are going to be connected, so the engine for this is going to be kind of like chest and hips working as one unit. So there's no kind of like separation here like I would have in my full swing. A little bit of weight into that left side, lean that shaft forward. That's a fantastic shot. I take that all day long. So it's a case of understanding the problems that you've got, solving the problem in the most simple way that you can, and then creating that technique. So don't sort of get an 8-iron and try to make it into a 6-iron. If you need a 6-iron, pull it out your bag, and that's your club. Tip number 2, here's my situation. I'd like to always keep the ball on the ground if I can. I definitely can't. I've got to come over the corner of this trap, and I don't have much room to work with at the other side. So I have to sort of calculate, like, you know, a tour player looks at this and goes, he's still trying to hole it, right? Now, if you're an amateur golfer and you haven't sort of hit a chip shot like this for a month, that's a lot different thing. So I might just go long and out to the right there. So give myself a bit more room. 2-putt, so chip, 2-putt, I'm out of here. What I don't want to do, try to get too cute, dunk it in the bunker, play a shot that's a kind of above my grade, all right? So you don't need, you know, you see sort of like the tour players, open the face, tons of wrist hinge. That's fantastic. They've hit millions of those, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to set this up in the most simple way possible. This is my 56, right? Now, first thing I have to do when I'm chipping is figure out where I want to hit the ground. This is pretty firm and it's pretty grainy, and I don't want to have too much lean forward. So I don't want to have my low point get too far ahead of the ball here. I probably want my low point just on the sort of side of the ball that's facing the hole. So that is where I'm going to set my sternum, right? If I lean forward, I'm going to be too steep. If I lean back and try to help it up, I'm going to ground out here, thin it, that's going to be a problem. So once you've set that address position, stay stable to that point, right? So what we're effectively doing always in address is we're almost in a sense recreating that impact position. 56, off to the right, set my sternum, and then it's just a rotation to play it into that safe zone, 8 feet from the pin. So from there, I haven't played a really complicated shot. It's almost like just my arms are connected. I've set my address position so I hit the ground in the right place, and then enough force to complete the movement and drive the ball the required distance. Make it as simple as you can. Get out there, practice it, save some shots. Tip number 3, look at my situation here. I'm close to the green. I've got to come across this bunker, but really difficult Bermuda grass. Get these grasses sort of more southern Europe, certainly in the US, where the ball just doesn't sit up on the grass. It tends to fall down in it. So I have to be able to figure out how I'm going to sort of work this out. Now, it's a little bit more of a bunker shot. So have a few practice swings, and you can just sort of feel how much resistance the grass gives you. That's what you see when you watch the tour players. You know, they don't make practice swings on the tee, but they might make 10 when they're around the greens. They're trying to figure out what the lie is going to do, what the grass is going to do, to gauge how much speed they're going to need. So on this sort of a shot here, I can't be shallow. So here I'm going to lean quite a bit forward. So my low point now is certainly sort of a couple of balls after the ball I'm going to hit, right? Once I've set it there, really got to stay there. Okay, and this is going to be sort of much less of a U-shaped swing and much more of a V-shaped swing. So because of that, maybe even use a little bit of wrist hinge there just to set the club on a slightly steeper angle to give me the sort of the ability to launch the ball and sort of land it on the green and it come out soft. So lean into that front leg. That helps you just to pitch the low point forward of the ball. A little bit of wrists here, you can just see up and kind of down. And I'm not looking for a massive follow through here because I don't think the grass is going to give me that. So I'm not going to stress that, not trying to force it. So almost just let the club fall in behind the ball, kind of like a bunker shot. And just let it sort of pop and release. So it definitely takes a bit of time. If you're not used to it and you are coming out on one of these amazing vacations, throw a few balls down, try to get the feel, but I hope that helps you out. Tip number 4, so I am very close to the green here, but I've got to come across the first cut, the fringe, and get it onto the green. And what I don't have particularly is a great lie. I can't really putt that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a 7-iron. But I'm basically gonna, when I've got very slow swing speeds, the danger is if the heel hits in the grass, especially into the grain as I am here, there's a danger that with low speed it hit the catches. I'm not gonna make a divot and the face closes and I end the ball up here. So what I'm gonna do, change my address. I'm actually gonna lift the heel, which is the problem part for me, off the ground, right? So I'm playing the shot off the toe. Right, I use my putting grip, you don't have to do that, but I use my putting grip, and all I'm trying to do is just keep my left arm and the shaft in one line. So, play it off the toe, and what I'm trying to do is to find the feel where I'm not going to have any kind of like that dragging feeling. You can see how that grass wants to resist me. So, almost like a putt, play it off the toe, left arm and the shaft stays in a line, and I can make a pretty aggressive swing that lands the ball into the right place. It doesn't release out on me because it's kind of like a toe hit, so it's not like a really fast ball speed that I'm worried the ball gets away from me too much. And that's the way you can play a very simple shot. You know a putting stroke, right? You can play a simple shot, 7-iron off the toe with a putting stroke, find these sort of very difficult areas around the green, and I hope that saves you a shot. So here's the final tip, tip number 5. I am about 50 yards from the pin. And as I'm reading this, it's very, very tight, lies into me. I have to be able to play, if it's a wedge shot, it's got to be incredibly precisely played. And if you haven't been practicing that much, don't try it, right? That's where it's such a precise hit. So here I have my 5-wood and I'm 50 yards to the pin. What I'm going to do is just play the ground, right? So I'm just aim for the middle of the green to start with, right? Just we're trying to get on the green and 2-putt and get out of here. So the way to set this up, not too much shaft lean, right? Because you don't want the ball popping. There's plenty of loft there still, 18 on my 5-wood. I have my regular golf grip, and this isn't like a long putt, all right? Because that feels like it's such a stiff sort of a feel. You don't have sort of a massive, massive putting stroke. Play it like it's a golf shot. Even if it's like a little bit of wrist, a little bit of lag, you're just trying to make contact with the ball, get the ball running and get it onto the green. So, kind of stable, keep yourself nicely balanced. I just feel like I always just have the weight on that left foot and it stays there. And then just a little wrist action. And you can pop and release it. So it takes a little bit of practice, but it's such a useful shot when you've got these super tight lies and you haven't really, sort of not your short game's maybe not something you'd back yourself to do under pressure. Take the 5-wood out and you'd be amazed how many shots you can save.